Up next on the Rockbridge Report. With only 5 days left till election night, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are making their final campaign stops.
One of the most consequential elections of our lifetime.
Next Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala that you've had enough.
And later, 911 outages and shortages of both staff and equipment makes emergency response more difficult for Rockbridge County Fire and Rescue.
I worry a lot about having a call like that and then having a subsequent call.
Then our own Katie Eubanks tells us to expect a cooler week ahead. After that, thieves have a change of heart after stealing thousands of dollars worth of product from a Chesterfield pumpkin farm. All that coming up right now on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Emmy Amison.
And I'm Caden Buss. With less than a week until Election Day, the presidential candidates are ramping up their already busy schedules. Today, Vice President Kamala Harris is in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, while former President Donald Trump is making stops in North Carolina and Wisconsin after speaking in Pennsylvania last night. CNN's Julia Benbrook reports.
Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are locked in a tight race.
We have just 6 days left in one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime.
Next Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala that you've had enough.
The race will likely come down to the 7 battleground states that could conceivably be won by either candidate.
Oh, it's great to be back in Michigan.
If we win Pennsylvania, we're going to win the whole deal.
The battleground states can be broken up into 2 general categories. The Sun Belt battlegrounds include Arizona and Nevada in the west and North Carolina and Georgia in the east. Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina used to be more reliably Republican. Then there's the Midwestern battlegrounds, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, part of the so-called Blue Wall. These 3 states used to be more reliably Democratic, but flipped for Trump in 2016, then swung back for Democrats in 2020.
The advantage for Trump, he probably only has to win one of those 3 former Blue Wall states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Wisconsin, in order to win. She, in all likelihood, I think will have to sweep them, but that is totally within her power to do.
Recent polling shows Harris maintains a narrow advantage in 2 of those 3 closely watched Blue Wall states.
Reaction today to the Supreme Court's 6-3 ruling yesterday to allow Virginia to resume its purge of voter registrations. Governor Glenn Youngkin says the purge is aimed at stopping people who are not U.S. citizens from voting. The justices acted on Virginia's appeal after a federal judge found that the state illegally purged more than 1,600 voter registrations in the past 2 months. The Justice Department had sued Virginia because it claimed the purge initiative violated a 90-day quiet period on new election regulations. Governor Youngkin says any citizen mistakenly purged has the opportunity to appeal.
If there was a mistake, then the person is granted 14 days to respond and say, no, I am a citizen. And if they fail to do that and they are removed from the voter rolls, you can still same day register and cast a ballot.
Voter rights advocacy group Project Democracy said the purge lacks substantive evidence and primarily affects eligible voters. And make sure to tune in to the Rockbridge Report's Election Night broadcast this Tuesday at 7, 8:30, and 9:45. We will also have a continuous election results ticker all evening on Channel 18.
In Rockbridge County, problems with emergency services have started before the fire trucks even leave the station. A 911 outage last month happened due to failed Brightspeed and AT&T software. Dispatch Center Director Curtis Berry said citizens were notified about the outage through social media and alert systems. Calls were then directed to the next closest center in Allegheny County. Berry says even when there is an outage, you can still contact 911 via text or alternative phone numbers listed on their website. But even if you reach 911, short-staffed fire rescue departments mean you might still have a long wait until help arrives. The Rockbridge Report's Liz Trubeck has the story.
Rockbridge County has 10 fire rescue departments, plus 2 others in Buena Vista and Lexington. Ty Dickerson, Lexington's fire chief, says staffing is the biggest issue facing his department.
The workload is greater than it's ever been in call volume. The number of hours required for fire and EMS certification and continuing education is growing and growing. I would say the average tenure for volunteer firefighters is maybe 4 or 5 years.
Dickerson's department has 25 volunteers and 15 full-time firefighters who work together to staff the station's 3 rigs. But the station sometimes struggles to service each emergency when several calls come in at once.
Last Friday we had a very simple small house fire in a non-hydrant area, so we needed fire engines plus tanker trucks to bring the larger quantity of water. We ended up with 7 companies. I worry a lot about having a call like that and then having a subsequent call.
Volunteers in Rockbridge Baths say increases in the cost of living are leaving people with less free time to devote to the station.
Everyone's having to work harder to earn enough money to live. So one of the things we've seen is a lot of people now who used to just have one job now have 2 or 3 jobs.
Departments in the county say they are always trying to recruit more volunteers, from events at Lowe's to training sessions for high schoolers.
We have a high school EMT program, so we're always recruiting there. We go to all the job fairs.
Students at WNL and VMI are also volunteering their time.
They're pretty flexible, so I go whenever I want to. I send them a text and just ride along with the crew and work on calls with them. I go every Monday night from like 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., but we typically get anywhere from 0 to 2 or 3 calls.
Staffing isn't the only problem. It costs a lot more to buy one of these. And even if your department can't afford it, supply chain issues will cause delays.
Since 2019, the cost of apparatus, whether it be a fire engine or an ambulance, has doubled.
You can apply to be a volunteer online or in person at any station in the county. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Liz Trubeck.
Lexington's Public Works Department is surveying residents to figure out how many homes have lead pipes. Homeowners were notified through a letter mailed with the monthly water bill. Lexington's water complies with EPA standards on lead, but the annual water quality report showed a slight increase in lead levels from 2022 to 2023, reflecting the erosion of household pipes and the occurrence of natural lead. For more information, read Bella Timmerding's story at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, Mountain Gateway Community College is gearing up to move into a newer and larger BV campus.
Lead to much more efficiency and effectiveness for new employees going to the companies in the Rockbridge area.
And later, how Lexington downtown businesses became 80% women-owned. Stay with us here at the Rockbridge Report. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Mountain Gate Community College is moving from Vista Links Drive to Forest Avenue in Buena Vista. The downtown location will offer new programs and more opportunities for students. The Rockbridge Report's Channing Schilling reports.
Mountain Gateway Community College is moving into 2 buildings on Forest Avenue. The new campus will add 5,000 square feet for classrooms.
The big building is over 100 years old, so it literally had to come down to the brick and down to nothing. The only thing that was left was for the most part, the 4 walls.
The project was originally predicted to cost $5.7 million, but Rainoni said he thinks it'll cost over $7 million when the project is complete. The construction began last March and has been funded by grants and private fundraising. Rainoni hopes the number of students will increase from 120 to about 500 in the next 3 years.
Ultimately, it's really to have a larger presence to meet the needs, which is going to lead to jobs. It's going to lead to much more efficiency and effectiveness for new employees going to the companies in the Rockbridge area.
The new trades programs will include welding, building trades, heavy equipment operating, and plumbing.
I think it's going to be great. People won't have to go all the way to Covington. I think it'll be great for the people at Paramore because they don't have access to future career classes like Rockbridge does.
Mountain Gateway's move could also give downtown businesses a boost.
So because I'm still new business, a lot of people still don't know that I want to grow the boutique side. So I think that having students here will be fabulous for that part of my business.
The new location will create opportunities for the city and students.
They can get higher paying jobs, better employment, which will just continue to ripple through our community in positive ways. So I'm excited short term to have more people downtown, but really I'm excited long term how the educational opportunities will bless individuals and families.
The new programs will begin this summer in the renovated buildings. For the Rockbridge Report, this is Channing Schilling.
Buena Vista's public schools superintendent said that he will retire in July. The Rockbridge Report sat down with him to discuss his work in the district and the challenges facing his successor, which include adopting new state education policies, renovating old schools, and retaining teachers. Read Juliana Stevenson's Q&A at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
It's Halloween night, which means trick-or-treaters in Lexington are already out in full force. Legions of pirates, skeletons, and zombies have been going door to door along Main Street. But one popular candy stop you might not expect is the barracks of the Virginia Military Institute. The Rockbridge Report's Juliana Stevenson is live with trick-or-treaters in the barracks. Juliana?
Thanks, Caden, and happy Halloween from everyone here at the Rockbridge Report. Trick-or-treaters are headed from downtown Lexington to Virginia Military Institute in the barracks. Here we have VMI cadet Thor. Thor, what is your favorite part about handing out candy to kids?
It's really nice for how much we do in Lexington. We don't really get to go out and interact with the community as much, so it's really nice to actually get some time to know the families in Lexington.
And what have you all decorated the barracks as today?
So it is pirate themed this year, but there's a lot of skeletons and ghosts and all kinds of Halloween decorations around.
Awesome. You guys heard it here first. Back to you in the studio, Caden.
Thanks, Juliana.
Thistleberries, a new Lexington gift store, is the latest women-owned business to open since last spring. Nationwide, about 39% of businesses are owned by women, but Rebecca Logan of Main Street Lexington says over 80% of the businesses downtown are now owned by women. That's up from 56% 10 years ago. Read Kate Keeley's story on rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Up next on the Rockbridge Report, a country music concert with the goal of healing those affected by Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina.
Just to take a pause from how the destruction and the devastation, and to have a moment of trying to have a revival of what we're trying to do musically and throughout raising money.
After about a week of seeing some lovely fall conditions here in Lexington, we're going to continue seeing some excellent weather transitioning into this weekend and next week, perfect for all your fall festivities. Tune into my forecast for more. I'm Katie Eubanks with the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. A special benefit concert is taking place in Charlotte, North Carolina on Saturday to help the victims of Hurricane Helene. Some of country music's biggest stars like Eric Church and Luke Combs will headline the event. They say their goal is to uplift one another and help North Carolinians recover from the trauma of lost lives and homes. CNN's Kara Peters spoke with some of the participants.
The strength of the people there and the character of the people there is unlike anywhere in the world. That's the place that made me. That's the place that made the music that made me.
Nearly a dozen country music stars using their musical talents to encourage Western North Carolina following Helene, a place that holds fond memories for Eric Church and Luke Combs.
It was so sobering to see so many places that I walked with my own 2 feet, especially in Asheville.
Remember, there was some video of an area that I knew intimately in Western North Carolina, and when they sent the video, I didn't know what I was looking at. And it was stunning to me to see this area that I grew up in, that I knew, that I no longer recognized.
The concert comes as we reach the 1 month since Helene ripped through Western North Carolina. Raging rivers knocking homes off their posts, mudslides, and residents left with little to no power and water. And now chart-topping artists like Combs, Church, Keith Urban, Sheryl Crow, and Carolina in My Mind's James Taylor are hitting the stage.
A show like this usually takes a year or a year and a half to plan, and we were able to get it done in 3 weeks.
To bring a sense of hope and healing across the state.
Western North Carolina is internationally known, so we have a mission to make sure that it gets built back.
Just to take a pause from all how the destruction and the devastation, and to have a moment of trying to have a revival of what we're trying to do musically and throughout raising money with Concert for Carolina.
It might be Halloween, but it sure doesn't feel like it outside. I'm still wearing shorts to my classes.
Kaden, yeah, the leaves are starting to change, but I still haven't broken out my fall jacket yet. Katie, what's this upcoming week starting to look like?
That's exactly right. We've definitely had an abundance of warm weather lately, and we're going to continue seeing that transitioning into this weekend and the next week here in Lexington. Now, here's our current live shot at VMI. As you can see, very sunny conditions, very little clouds, definitely having some sun and warm weather. Now, looking into our current conditions here in Lexington, currently our high today was 78 degrees, and our low this morning was 58 degrees. Our barometric pressure is currently at 30.16 inches, and our wind speed is currently at 7 miles per hour. Our humidity is also at 47%. Taking a look at our radar right now, as you can see, no clouds, definitely continuing with that sun and nice weather coming up here in Lexington. Now, looking at our current conditions, as you can see, we do have a sun coverage everywhere, no clouds. In Lexington, it is currently 78 degrees, Stanton 74, Charlottesville 79, Buena Vista 78, Lynchburg 79, and taking a look over here, Covington 79 degrees, and Roanoke 78. Now, looking at our 5-day forecast here, tomorrow, Friday, we do have some partly cloudy conditions with a high of 77 degrees and a low of 40. And then looking at this weekend, we are continuing with that very nice weather, absolutely perfect for all of your fall festivities. Partly cloudy conditions with highs in the high 60s and lows in the low 40s. And then looking at next week, Monday and Tuesday, partly cloudy as well. Highs in the low 70s and lows in the low 50s. Now, speaking of nice weather, when looking at this weekend, it's going to be absolutely perfect for all of your favorite fall sports like football. Back to you, Emmy and Kaden.
Thanks, Katie. Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, Washington and Lee men's soccer finally broke their tie streak last weekend. Mackenzie Kane talks to the player who scored the winning goal.
And later, thieves have a change of heart and return thousands of dollars of stolen items from Chesterfield, Virginia pumpkin farm. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report.
Well, I can't wait to go and support field hockey senior day on Saturday. Kaden, where will you be?
I sure will be at the men's soccer team ODAC quarterfinal game, also on Saturday, Emmy. How's the men's soccer team feeling, Caroline?
Well, Kaden, men's soccer is feeling great after their last couple of matchups, so let me fill you in. Washington and Lee men's soccer beat Virginia Wesleyan 1-0 last weekend. The win breaks a 3-game tie streak for the Generals. The Rockbridge Report's Mackenzie Kane has the story.
Good afternoon, Rockbridge. I'm here at Washington and Lee's Watt Field, where the Generals men's soccer team has put an end to their tie streak with a victory against Virginia Wesleyan University. And joining me here on field is game MVP Treon Cahias. Treon, you had the game-winning goal. Walk me through what you saw there.
Yeah, so prior to that corner kick, had a little dispute with the center back. But you got to go to the next action. And, yeah, I just heard a shout, Treon go near post, went there, yeah, happened. And it was a spectacular moment. And, yeah, it was a very crucial goal.
Now, this isn't your average game. It's senior day here on Watt Field. So what are some of the pieces of advice these seniors have given you that you've really instilled this year?
First of all, I wanted to thank them. And I think that all of us put a shift today, and we honor them with that. Some advice that they gave me last year, I got just 9 minutes on the field. And, yeah, it's been hard work. It's been a roller coaster so far. But, yeah, thank them for that. And I wish the best to their lives.
Well, Treon, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on the victory. And signing off from Watt Field, I'm Mackenzie Kane.
Women's soccer beat Ferrum College 2-0 last night and are now ranked number 4 in the nation for Division III. Generals football came out strong last weekend, shutting out Ferrum 34-0. They'll face number 24 Randolph-Macon on Saturday. VMI women's soccer ended their season with a close loss to Wofford this week. They fell 3-2 in the Southern Conference tournament. While VMI football fell to Chattanooga 31-10. They'll play Furman this Saturday. SVU men's soccer closes the regular season with a strong 3-1 win over Mary Baldwin. This win secured the Knights the number 3 seed heading into conference play. Women's volleyball lost to Salem College last night 3-2. They will play Pfeiffer University on Saturday. Heading into high school, Rockbridge County High School football lost 40-0 in a conference game against Spotswood High School. They will play Turner Ashby High School tomorrow night. While girls volleyball also fell 3-1 in their conference game against Harrisonburg High School. Perry McClure High School girls volleyball won their matchup against Narrows High School 3-2 last night, while varsity football was shut out by Alta Vista High School last week 57-0. They will play at Bath County High School tomorrow. That's all I have for sports, but make sure you check out the upcoming matchups as teams will be heading into conference play. Back to you, Caden.
Thanks, Caroline. A troubling story out of Chesterfield, Virginia took an unusual turn in recent days into a happy ending. Earlier this month, thieves cleaned out a pumpkin farm, stealing just about everything. But then they did something entirely unexpected. Sarah Shackles reports.
After thousands of dollars worth of pumpkins and decor were stolen from the farm, Levi's Pumpkins owner Tammy Clark never thought she'd see the items again. It was the second year in a row they'd been targeted. This time, thieves running off with metal pumpkins, a homemade scarecrow, decorative lawn flags, and of course, the pumpkin stack. A devastating blow to Clark, who lost her 41-year-old son Levi, for whom the farm is named, several years ago to COVID-related complications. Some of the stolen items were special to him.
My head was just spinning. I couldn't believe it.
Clark says she was shocked when she saw a U-Haul truck coming up the drive late last Friday afternoon.
They introduced themselves and just said they would like to apologize for taking our items and for us to please forgive them for the foolish thing that they had done.
And have you?
Oh, yes.
Clark doesn't plan to press charges. She says 4 young men returned every single item that was taken, personally unloading everything in the truck and putting it all back in the right place.
As they were unloading the truck, I just sat down on a pile of lumber and just cried because I just said, thank you, God, for returning these items to us, and please make this a good lesson for these young men.
Between our story airing and the items being returned, Clark says the public has turned out in a big way, with folks buying most of their pumpkins, others dropping off monetary donations, sending replacement items, and even one leaving a gift basket. Children also drawing notes of support.
It just makes you feel happy that there really are caring, concerned people out there.
Make sure to tune in this Tuesday for our special election night broadcast at 7, 8:30, and 9:45 p.m. and continuous results on our live ticker all evening long. That's all for the Rockbridge Report. Thanks for watching.
WLU.edu. We'll see you next time.